Okay, we're a minute early. Shame on me. That makes up for the times we've been late. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 18th, 2024 City Council meeting. Suzanne, roll call.
Labar is absent. Case,
Here.
Connors,
Here.
Harvey,
Here.
Nakai,
Here.
Neil,
Here.
Zulawaga.
Present.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. America.
Yes, we do.
Okay, we're on item 3, ceremonies and presentations and appointments. And item A is a swearing in ceremony for the police department, and that's Chief Deisler.
Well, that was quick. I didn't expect it to be that fast anyway. And good evening, everyone. Mayor Pro Tem, Council, Mr. Manager. As always, I would like to first thank every one of you for giving us some time on your agenda tonight to help celebrate and recognize our folks, particularly some of the new folks that we've recently brought into our ranks in our professional family. We've mentioned time and time again that it is our goal collectively to bring the best and brightest we can into this force to help us move the agency forward. I'm quite confident that tonight, once you meet our 2 new hires, that you will definitely think we've continued to make the right decisions. And if you don't, hold your comments until later and catch me outside. Nonetheless, without getting too long-winded, because I know Suzanne is virtual, but she will remind me that I talk a lot. I'd like to get into the swearing-ins right now. If you don't mind, I'll take the microphone and I'll move into the center of the floor. Well, family, friends, thank you very much for coming out. This is always a fun time for me to be able to recognize our folks, not only for some promotions you'll see here in just a minute, but also to recognize some of our new officers who have recently joined our ranks over the past couple of months. To say the department has gone through changes over the past 22 months or so is an understatement. Right about the 2-year mark is where we usually in the law enforcement discipline recognize when the community sees a change of leadership and management, that you all will get a really good feel for where the agency's headed in the direction that we're going. I hope that you will find that we've given you all as the community who we serve appropriate avenues to make your concerns and your desires known to us so that we know that we're serving you in a way that is representative. As I mentioned a second ago, we're always happy to bring good, solid folks into our ranks. Tonight is kind of a unique situation. Most times we're bringing in brand new folks. It's not very often that we can find solid, experienced people to come on board, but we've been lucky. And I've got one of each to share with you tonight. So without getting too long-winded, I'd like to invite Officer Bailey Colvin to come up and meet me up front. So you graduated the academy when? May. So not too long ago, back in May, I did an academy graduation speech. And one of the things that I always hit on is character and understanding that the power that the office brings us through our oath is meaningless. It only exists because the citizens who we police allow it to be. And that money, fame, and power don't change you. They only magnify who you are. So if you're rich, now you're a nice rich person. And if you're famous, now you're a mean famous person. But I think you get where I'm headed. So what we try to do is we try to aspire to find folks who hold our ideals close and have the same mindsets that we share to bring new folks on. And it's no secret, most of the officers coming out of the academies can go work anywhere. Every agency's hiring. Every department is short. But I've made a pledge years ago, and I kept it when I moved here, is I would rather work short than not find the right people. So I would like to take a second to swear in front of her family, her entourage, her group that I think composes about the first 2 rows on this side of the room, with her swearing in her oath of office. And I'll grab the oath now because I don't have it memorized at this very moment. It's been a long one. Are you ready, young lady? All right, so we'll blade off a little bit so they can get your picture. You ready? All right, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Colorado, and the ordinances and charter of the City of Woodland Park. I will conduct myself with honesty and integrity, will serve my community with bravery and honor, and never betray the public trust. I will faithfully perform the duties of a Woodland Park police officer, which I am qualified for and now about to enter. And that does it. Okay, so I'm going to set this plaque down now because we have the fun part. Here, I'll tell you what. Here it goes. Now, some of you who have watched me do the swearing-ins before will find the same joke, so humor me. So, sir, if you'd like to join me and bring any of your folks who you would like to accompany you, because it's not always you get to take part in something like this. So feel free to come and enjoy it. Last call. Anyone else? Okay. So, sir, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present you her badge. You may pin it on her shirt. The joke is don't pin it straight unless you don't like her and you want to stab her, pin it down. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you don't have to go. You don't have to go through the whole deal. Can't get it. All right. Well, I present to you Officer Bailey Colvin. Okay, now, since I have you here, it's only right because, you know, I told you we're looking for good people, right? So you good people, right? If you're not good people, lie until you're not around your parents. So I'm going to give you a badge sticker. I'm going to give you a badge sticker and you. And thank you for sharing Mom with us. And one thing I want to make sure that you all understand, and so I know you have military, but I want you all to understand something very clearly, okay? We are going to give her every bit of equipment and training and support she needs to be successful at the highest levels so that she can continue to come home every night and be with you guys. And that's our pledge to you, okay? So thanks for helping out. Congratulations. So Bailey, if you want to hang out just over there, and I'll let the rest of them sit.
Last name.
Okay, moving on. So now we'll switch gears a little bit because the next new employee who I'd like to introduce you to is Hank Christ. Come on up, sir.
Bailey. What's your last name?
Now I know
Colvin.
I can see his fan club in the
Okay.
back now smiling and smirking.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you'll get your chance to badge him in a second. So I'd like to introduce you to Hank. And Hank is, to me, an anomaly because, again, I tell you that guys like me, we get lucky every now and then when we can find solid, experienced people to come onto our ranks and help us move the agency. And I'm going to mess this up, but I think you've got nearly 2 decades with Air Force service as a special investigator and almost a decade with El Paso County Sheriff's Office. And we were lucky to be able to entice him to come work with us and help us continue to move our agency forward. So there's 2 parts to the quiz tonight with Hank. Is through sets of circumstances since he got hired in, I think it was November, October, November. Oh, was that December? Okay. Time continuum is gone for me anyway. Since then, we were able to exploit his skill set, shall we say, and find him eligible for promotion to the rank of lieutenant. So in a very short period of time, it was very apparent that he has not only the love for the job, the passion for people and training, showing his new folks what we need to do, but take that enthusiasm and bring it to the road and help grow our workforce. So the first part I'm going to do is swear him in. I'll invite his family up, and then we're going to give him a promotion. Probably the fastest one I've ever done. All right, are you ready, sir? I state your name.
I, Henry Christ,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that
swear
I will support, protect, and defend
support, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the ordinances and charter of the City of Woodland Park.
ordinance and charter of the City of Woodland Park.
I will conduct myself with bravery and honor,
Conduct myself with bravery and honor,
will never betray the public trust.
never betray the public trust,
I will faithfully perform the duties
faithfully perform the duties
of a Woodland Park police officer,
the Park Police Officer,
which I am qualified for
which I am qualified for,
and now about to enter.
now about to.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you.
So now the fun part. So whoever's gonna pin him, come on up. Absolutely, yeah. Make it a family affair.
Just had a grandbaby,
Oh, that's right. Here we go.
1 month old.
I'll save the sticker for her until later. How's that? So, ma'am, I know that you and I had the opportunity to speak quite a bit, at least that afternoon before we were able to hire him. And I am hoping that what you've seen out of us so far is representative of what we talked about, what I'd like to see him do and move him into a role where I know he can flourish and help us move the agency in the right direction. So again, I'm thankful for your involvement. I appreciate the fact that he's able to come up here and be with us now. And we're going to go ahead and give him a promotion to lieutenant. And if you'd like to pin him, you may do so now. I see, these are the long married people, right? Stab him. I'm certain it wouldn't. And if you're smart, you might want to watch. There might be a third. There you go. That's it. There you go. It doesn't have to be pretty, you know. All right, fantastic. We got it. So his promotion certificate is here. And I'd like to present this certificate of promotion to lieutenant to you with my thanks and appreciation and congratulations. And I'm happy to have you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna have Hank hang out for a second. And now move into the last one. Trying to keep it under 30 minutes. That was a joke. You can laugh now. Anyway. Okay, so many of you may have seen this young lady before because she was also someone who we were able to wrangle with some experience about a year ago or so. Matter of fact, yeah, I think you just had your first year yesterday. I told you, time is moving quickly. But Kristen Arsenault was also someone who quickly got our attention as someone who could embody the spirit of where we're headed and help us move. And I will tell you, if she's being honest, that she will probably tell you that there is a lot of stuff that I throw at her all day long because there's just a lot to do, right? And I am notorious for thinking of something and just need to get it done. And if she's not, she's doing a good job at faking it because she has been able to hit every curveball so far that I've thrown at her. And not only has she done that, she's done it with a smile on her face, at least around me. What she does after the fact, I'll know you're in trouble because now she's going to be throwing curveballs at you. So I am happy to be able to announce her recent promotion to the rank of captain. So Kristen now has become my second in command of the department. And I am certain that she will continue to excel and shine in ways that she probably has yet to experience. But she will tell you that we throw a lot of stuff at these folks. The idea being to help them learn and grow in their new roles. And again, you continue to have my support. And I know that you've got some family here who once I lost them in the crowd. There they are. Your children are here. And if y'all want to come up and you can help me pin her badge on her. All right, whoever's doing the dirty work, start the clock. Trust me, only clock running is for me, not you. You're good. There she got. Look at that. Quickest one yet. So ladies and gentlemen, Captain Kristen Arsenault, thank you very much. And congratulations to you, ma'am, and thank you for what you're doing. So, Kristen, if you want, I'll keep all of them up here for pictures. Of course, Mr. Manager, if anybody would like to come down and partake in the pictures, they can. and we'll get some, and then you all can break off separately and get some pictures real quick if you want, and we'll do that now. You all can stay or go. You have to stay. They can do what they want. All right, so. Yeah, we'll all get one. You know, put that down and hold it. Anybody who wants to come down, please feel free.
I want to go. Come on. Sure.
Just let us know who you need to look at.
If we can kind of strengthen the two rows to fit just a little bit, Catherine and maybe Carol and Rusty, you could sorry. There we go. And if you guys can all kind of look straight ahead, then I think the other two people near me can get the same sort of shot. There we go. Excellent.
So if you all want some individuals.
Hopefully you're not making an ass.
Yeah.
All our department heads should do this.
Mhm.
All my department heads should do this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I really do.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, call it.
Desi, Damien, Jason. Yes.
Yes. Really? What do you
Zoo, all they had was a gun.
Never went. You'll come.
There we go. Okay, everybody ready? Hold on. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Let's see if I can tell that. Because it's cold.
Thank you.
Did you really like that?
Congratulations.
And anyway, his girl would say,
Yeah, one last thing before we go. For the children, I was given some of these arrowheads by Councilmember Connors, and he wanted me to present them to you all after the fact. He may not want me to say it out loud, but he's the one that gave these to me. So that guy, second in the green shirt, is the one who gave me these. And I got another one. Want one?
Oh, you gave him to
There you go.
Arrowheads? Yeah. good.
So thank you all very much. We appreciate it. And I got some plaques up here that need to go. That's yours.
You're thrilled, Greg. See the little kid. How old's your grandbaby, Grandpa?
Born December 1st.
December 1st, 7 weeks. What's her name? Harper? Very nice. Very cool.
Are we done, Chief? Thank you. Congratulations to everyone.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay, good.
item 3B, appointment of the Woodland Park to the Woodland Park Board of Adjustment. And that is Suzanne.
Oh,
please.
let's
Thank
see.
you, Mayor Pro Tem Case. Good evening. This
Good evening.
evening, before you, council has an application from Valerie Lundy, excuse me. Valerie is an incumbent on the Board of Adjustment, serving in a regular position on the BOA. As council knows, we always have openings and we are always looking for people to join that committee, but we're really excited that Valerie is willing to come back and keep her position. She is one of 5 members of the BOA, and what Karen reminded me of this evening that's most important about the BOA is there are 5 members. It takes 4 of them to grant a variance. So they have to vote, 4 of them have to have a positive vote in order to get a variance passed. So it's very, very important that we have these positions filled. So I'm saying that out loud for the public, if anyone's interested. There's 2 alternate positions, but for this evening, we're excited to present Miss Lundy before council for her consideration, and I believe she's in the audience and available to answer questions. And if she is appointed Mayor Pro Tem, I am ready and willing to administer the oath of office.
Great, thank you, Suzanne. Valerie, would you like to come up and let the council ask you a couple questions? Tell us a little bit about you and why you like serving on BOA, please. Yes, with the microphone, please.
Well, I was actually torn this year with the signing up again because it just because, but we have a lot of unfinished business, I think, within the city. I mean, I realize it's not the BOA's job with the things like the review of the code, but I've been very active in going to all those meetings and helping with that. And I think it's just important to keep the continuity. And you sure as heck don't want to have a board that only has 4 people in it, because then it's going to be virtually impossible to get anything done. My background, I'm a aeronautical engineer by trade. How's that? But I retired 10 years ago. I decided I was done. I wanted to just be able to go off and do what I wanted to do, as opposed to travel. I traveled most of the time when I was working, because I was at various test sites. So it was nice to be able to just stay in one place. And if anybody has a question, go for it.
Thank you, council.
I'm good. Go ahead.
Oh, no question. Just thank you, Valerie, because I was around when we started the code revision, and your diligence and attention to
Yeah.
detail is, I can't even begin to thank you. And I
Thanks.
have no idea why you want to do this again.
I have no idea either.
There's
Yeah.
knitting, there's crocheting, there's just.
No, quilting, that's
Quilting,
my
yeah,
thing.
yeah. But thank you very much for stepping up again.
All right, thank you.
Valerie, I remember when you came before us first time, so thank you. What have you learned? And what do
Oh.
you see now with eyes of experience?
Well, the one thing for me that we always seem to have to explain to people when we have had people requesting variances is we're not the planning commission. We're not. And we can do this, but a lot of times the general public wants you to do more than that. It's like, no, we can't do that. That's not our function. And for the most part, they understand after a little bit, but we encourage them if they have concerns in the public to go ahead and ask of the people that can really answer their question. We're not allowed to do that. So I guess that's the biggest thing. It's sort of like an unknown valley in the development process.
And what would you say to somebody who would like to join the board? What can you encourage them with?
Don't be afraid. Seriously. No, I mean, there's a lot of people that are afraid of saying something in public. They're afraid of maybe saying the wrong thing. Well, we all do it. You can, but be willing to go out there and learn something and read this stuff. Don't just read the variance request, read the code, understand what's in there and what you can and can't do. I think it's really important for the board.
Awesome. How long's the term?
It's 3 years.
3 years.
It's 3 years.
It's 3 years.
Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you for continuing, since you and I served on it together for a little bit.
Yes, very short time.
Very
Yes,
short time,
very short
but my little short time, I enjoyed
Yes.
the board. So
I think it's a good group.
I think so
We get
too.
along and it's a good group.
it's a great group.
Anything else, council? All right,
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Valerie Lundy to the Board of Adjustment.
Oh, second. It.
thank you. Any
So
further?
that was
discussion?
that was
Go
a
ahead,
first
Susan.
from Nakai and a second from Zulawaga.
Right.
All right, Suzanne?
Case,
Yes.
Connors,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Zulawaga.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0. If
Yeah, thank
Ms. Lundy would be willing to come up and if she can look at me on camera, I can.
Oh,
administer
I'm sure I can do that.
I know that Karen really needs you and Lou Ramon has advocated for you to get appointed tonight because you have business to do. So if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me, I, Valerie Lundy, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Colorado,
and of the state of Colorado,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances,
of the city of Woodland Park,
city of Woodland Park,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
of member of the Board of Adjustment
of member of the Board of Adjustment
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you for your service, Valerie. The next item is item 4, additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda. I assume, Suzanne, we don't have anything?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. And item 5 is our consent calendar, council. We have, A is approval of on-call engineering and land use development services. The other, it's to, do the baseline with JR Engineering and Wilson and Company, and that is Ben, if you have any questions. Item B is approval of on-call asphalt and concrete contract. And number C is the December 2023 statement of expenditures, and number 4 is approval of the January 4th regular city council meeting minutes. Can we take them all, or is there anyone that wants to pull anything off?
No, good with them all.
All right,
I'm
Okay.
comfortable with everything.
can I have a motion, council?
I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first from Neil and a second from Connors.
Yes.
Okay, Connors,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Zulawaga,
Yes.
Case.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0 unanimously. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. We're on item 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. Suzanne, do we have anyone signed up to speak tonight?
I do. I have this evening, I have Holly Sample is signed up to speak.
Thank you. Welcome, Holly.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity to speak, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. As you know, I'm here representing the Braver Angels Alliance. Last year, we launched a community effort to help people develop skills to bridge the divisions in our community. And as you also know, we don't try to change people's minds. We focus on helping people develop empathy, find common ground if it exists, and essentially learn how to disagree better. So thank you so much for your support. The council's been very supportive of our efforts as a whole, and both with many of you who have individually been involved. And also, I just want to mention what I see this council as a model of civility in our community. You conduct yourselves with decorum. You structure meetings to encourage public participation on the items you're considering, as well as things that aren't on the agenda, like I'm doing tonight. So I appreciate that. I'm here to talk to you about a Braver Angels initiative called Braver Politics. And it's designed to depolarize our politics while promoting a spirit of citizenship and goodwill. We offer events to elected officials, candidates, and their staff. to help people develop skills for communicating across differences, build constructive relationships across partisan divides. And as you know, you have lots of opportunities to have challenging conversations with people when you are in a civic role or involved in the community. So we'd like to help you continue to build those skills, and with elections and new members, maintain that high level of civility that you've already demonstrated here. So one particular workshop is called Managing Difficult Conversations with Constituents. And that brings together elected officials and candidates to develop skills for showing people who disagree with them that they've been heard, sharing their own views in a way that's likely to be heard by the other person, and finding any areas of commonality or agreement if they're present. We'd be glad to provide this workshop at your convenience. National Director of Braver Politics, Elizabeth Dahl, has offered to co-moderate the workshop with me. So thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Holly. Anyone else? Suzanne?
No, ma'am, that's it for this evening.
Anyone in the audience want to address the council this evening? All right, seeing no one.
Mayor
move-
Pro Tem.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I would like to add, I know that we would not normally comment on items not on the agenda, but at the close of the meeting this evening, I will ask the consensus of the council to sponsor a workshop that we can entertain the moderator, the national moderator for the topic that Holly just brought up.
Thank you. All right, we're on to item 7, unfinished business. There is nothing. Item 8, ordinances on initial posting. We have nothing. And number 9A is a public hearing on ordinance number 1470, series 2024, with regards to Pikes Peak Taco Mexican Restaurant as the applicant. And this is CJ Gates, and there he is.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Let me just pull up my presentation here and we can get started. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Again, my name is CJ Gates. I'm with the Woodland Park Planning Department. The item before you tonight is for Pikes Peak Taco. It's a conditional use permit and administrative site plan review. This is a Mexican restaurant by the applicant Morales Enterprises LLC. The subject property is Lot 3 of Brecken Heights subdivision, and it's located northeast of the intersection of Highway 24 and Morning Sun Drive. The subject property is zoned community commercial, as you can see on the right-hand side of your slide. The subject property is located within the Brecken Heights subdivision, which was originally approved by the City Council in 2021. The original plat, Brecken Heights subdivision, which is on the current slide, consisted of a total of 4 lots, including the subject property, which is outlined in red. In association with the Brecken Heights subdivision, Lot 2, which is a total of 175,960 square feet in size, was deeded to the City of Woodland Park. Currently, a social trail exists on Lot 2 that leads to Sun Valley Park to the northeast. A townhome plat for Lot 1 and a portion of Lot 4 of the Brecken Heights subdivision was approved by the city in 2022, and this is now known as the Homes at Brecken Heights, which consist of a total of 28 townhome lots. Pikes Peak Taco Mexican Restaurant Incorporated and Morales Enterprises LLC are applying for a conditional use permit and site plan review in order to construct a 1,650 square foot drive-through Mexican restaurant with this, excuse me, with associated site improvements on the subject property with access to the property from Highway 24. The applicant has stated that the primary function of the proposed building is to function as a drive-through restaurant, but will also include 4 tables for indoor seating. Outside the building is proposed to have an outdoor seating area, which includes 3 umbrella-style tables, which holds approximately 4 customers per table. The applicant is also proposing a shared utility and access easement that will be placed on Lot 4 to serve both lots 3 and 4. As seen here, the proposed building is located on the south side of the property. The site plan includes a parking area with a total of 17 parking spaces, which meets city requirements. Also, as seen on the site plan, the proposed, thanks, Aaron, appreciate it. Also, as you guys can see here on the screen on the site plan, the proposal includes a drive-through. Also, as seen on the site plan, the proposed restaurant will be accessed off of Highway 24 using a proposed 30-foot wide common access driveway. The access point is located on Lot 4 and will be used to access the subject property as well as Lot 4 of the homes at Brecken Heights. A letter from the property owner of Lot 4, Brecken Heights LLC, stated that they agreed to the proposed driveway, and this was included within the staff report. As you see here on this slide are renderings for the proposed restaurant. The building is planned to be a total of 20 feet, 6 inches in height, and is proposed to be constructed with a mixture of materials. As seen later in the staff report, there is a condition of approval that the applicant must work with planning staff to ensure the building meets Woodland Park architectural design guidelines. Staff analyzed section 18.57 when reviewing this application. The application complies with the provisions on this slide. The development must demonstrate a direct need at the location, shall not endanger public health, shall not injure the value of bordering properties, and must be in harmony with the area which it is located. The development must be in compliance with the comprehensive master plan, and this complies. The development must meet all city code requirements, and this may comply. Staff has called out specific issues on the site plan during the review process, including but not limited to the location of loading and unloading zones, the proposed renderings and utility issues. Per condition of approval number 2, the applicant must submit a final site plan resolving all issues, which were on the red line plans that were sent to the applicant. Lastly, on this slide, the development must comply with traffic mitigation measures, and this also may comply. The application was referred to the Colorado Department of Transportation for review. They provided comments and stated that the applicant must submit for and gain approval of an access permit. Items 8 and 9 on the slide comply, which is that the development must build to best minimize environmental and water impacts. The development must be built to minimize fire hazard, and this also may comply. This application was referred to Northeast Teller County Fire Protection District during the referral period. The fire department must approve the site plan when the applicant submits building permits to Pikes Peak Regional Building Department. Lastly, the proposed building must be built to meet architectural design guidelines, and this may comply. As previously noted, the applicant has submitted preliminary renderings of the proposed building. After planning staff's analysis, the proposed structure does not meet the Woodland Park architectural guidelines outlined in Code Section 18.33.180, but will be working with staff during the submittal of the final site plan. Staff also reviewed Section 18.34 of the City Code when reviewing this application. That full analysis was within the staff report and is very redundant to the criteria that we just went over. In accordance with the conditional use permit, the applicant is also required to submit for a preliminary site plan along with other preliminary development plans. As far as process goes, staff makes comments on the preliminary documents during the CUP process, and they get resolved when the applicant submits for a final site plan. The application was referred to the city and outside referral agencies on this slide. As I previously mentioned, both CDOT and Core Electric submitted comments, which the applicant must adhere to per the conditions of approval within the ordinance. The Planning Commission heard this item, and their recommendation was approval of a conditional use permit and site plan to allow for a proposed drive-through restaurant with associated site improvements, along with a common lot 3/4 driveway off of Highway 24 with a legal description of Lot 3 Brecken Heights with an address of 19569 East US Highway 24 in the community commercial zone, subject to the following conditions. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, the applicant shall submit for and receive approval of a final site plan for a permitted use, including landscaping, drainage, architectural elevations, access, etc. Infrastructure zoning development for permits, fees in lieu shall be submitted pursuant to municipal code. And zoning development permits and building permits for all new constructions, including the list here on the slide. I usually read it all, but I think you guys have heard this many times, so I'm gonna skip through that long list if that's okay with you. Number two, a final updated site plan resolving all issues identified on the red line plans must be approved by the city before any zoning development permit will be issued. Number three, all development impact fees must be paid prior to ZDP issuance, including but not limited to tap fees, stormwater capital improvement fees, transportation capital fees, etc. Fees shall be calculated concurrent with the ZDP review. Four, the applicant shall amend the proposed building facade to better harmonize with the Woodland Park Mountain Western aesthetic. Five, the applicant must submit for and gain approval of an access permit from CDOT. Six, the applicant must satisfy all requirements and gain approval from Core Electric prior to the final site plan approval. Seven, the applicant must gain approval from the Northeast Teller County Fire Protection District prior to the final site plan approval. And lastly, number eight, suitable access, easement, and maintenance agreements approved by the city, including identification of at least 4 parking spaces for pedestrians accessing Lot 2 with appropriate signage must be executed and recorded. And I also want to mention every condition of approval listed here on the slide is also listed within the ordinance that was attached within your staff report. During the planning commission meeting, they urged staff to route this to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. So in between the planning commission and tonight, we routed this through PRAB, and this is their recommendation. That the applicant must increase the proposed public parking spaces from 3 to 4 with trail signage, provide sidewalk connectivity from the sidewalk along Highway 24 to the new parking spaces, provide public access easement from the 4 parking spaces to adjacent public property open space. And lastly, reconfirm the commitment from 2020 to accept the dedicated 4.26 acre with the 0.265 miles of breeze/composite material trail, erosion control plan for the trail, 3 standard and 1 ADA compliant picnic tables, and fire mitigation. I will say from a planning perspective, the last condition here on the slide is more of a condition for the original developer of this land, which was Brecken Heights LLC. The current owner of the property and the one proposing this conditional use permit is Morales Enterprises. So take that for what you will. And staff's recommendation is for city council to approve ordinance number 1470, series 2024, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit with a site plan review for the purpose of allowing a drive-through restaurant and associated site improvements along with a common driveway off of Highway 24 with a legal description of Lot 3, Brecken Heights, 19569 East US Highway 24 in the community commercial zone. Thank you, council, and this concludes my presentation. And we also have Mike Bramlett in the audience with us tonight, and he's representing the applicant.
Thank you, CJ. Council, just a brief reminder that I did not give you when I introduced this, but just a reminder, this is quasi judicial with relation to a conditional use permit and preliminary site plan review.
I just had a quick question for CJ, if
Okay,
that's okay.
Go ahead.
Sure.
So I just want to make sure the access will be using the acceleration lane coming off of Morning Sun, right? Going west on 24.
So this rendering right here on this slide, the access will exactly be off of the XL decel
The
lane.
except-
Yeah,
so
exactly.
diesel lane. Okay.
So
So
this
it's not
yellow
gonna-
portion on this slide here will be the proposed driveway, and this is Highway 24.
So it shouldn't impact the traffic on Highway 24, the 2 lanes. The
That's the gist
That's
of
the
it.
theory.
Ultimately, you
Yeah.
know, that's CDOT's jurisdiction and they
Right.
do have to approve the project and provide the applicant with the access permit. So,
okay,
Yeah.
that's all I had. Thanks.
Robert?
Thanks. CJ, I'm struggling with a couple of things on this.
Okay.
First one is, this is a drive-through taco shop, right?
Correct.
How come they need 17 parking spaces to comply with the city's requirements?
So with our city code, we have very specific for restaurants. And drive-through restaurants is on our parking requirement and it's based off of square footage. So,
You have 4 tables on the inside and 3 on the outside, so you got 7 tables and 17 parking spaces. So I struggle with the practicality of that.
okay.
My second part is, how is this owner being responsible to Parks and Rec for something that the developer was required for? Why is this going to the
Right.
restaurant?
And lastly, on the parking, council member Zuluaga is, it's not, all 17 are not actual parking spaces. There are, we call them parking spaces, but when you're, going through the McDonald's driveway and you're parked on the Highway 24 side, say at our McDonald's here, that's considered a stacking space. So they have to have a minimum of 4 stacking spaces per drive-through window of the building. So that's counted within the parking requirements. As far as PRAB's recommendation, it's just that, it's a recommendation. And that's why I wanted to point out to that very last recommendation that ultimately that should be on the developer of the plat of the homes at Brecken Heights, and not necessarily the taco shop.
Can it be removed?
So this here you see on the screen, the last, none of these are specifically within the ordinance. Planning Commission did recommend that number eight on this slide is within the ordinance. So PRAB's recommendation kind of just backed up number 8 here.
So lot 2 then is the open space,
Yeah, so lot 2 was deeded to the city of Woodland Park
correct?
after the homes at Brecken Heights subdivision went in. So that's a public open space area with a social trail on it.
Understood.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, my question is, it's just, I feel we're crossing over jurisdictions here. Why is this restaurant, taco, takeaway, whatever, being required to offer their space for an open space and not the developer and carved out as,
Sure.
if somebody wanted to get owner, I mean,
And
I
is
don't
that
want to make a
something
big
they
deal
agreed
about it,
to?
but
Did they agree? to
did they
that?
agree? Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'll let Mike talk too, but in the meantime, I do want to pull up the site plan here. It's on page 2. So existing on the site already is, if you guys see here, is a proposed 5-foot sidewalk. On the plat, on the actual plat, the lot 3 homes at Brecken Heights, there is a existing easement. It's a utility and trail easement running all the way up this side of the property line for access of this lot 2, which is up here. So there is existing easements on there for access to the open space area. So yes, it was a requirement during the platting process that, the development of these lots down below do have to provide access to the open space. It's my understanding, and I'll let Mike talk about it too, that the owner of lot 3 and the owner of lot 4 are cost sharing to put in this driveway since it's going to access both lots and put those parking spaces up above for this trail.
So who's going to own those parking spaces?
That'll be both of the landowners. So they're the owner, or actually, I'm sorry. The owner of lot 4, which is Brecken Heights LLC, will own that common driveway. So if you guys see here, there's a thick black line. That's actually the property line. So the entirety of the shared driveway is on lot 4.
which is Brecken
Brecken
Heights.
Heights LLC, correct?
Yeah. But the extra parking spaces that Prab wants are the four to the left of that line, right? On the- at least the-
Correct, yeah, so this area here is.
Oh,
the
there or
parking
the,
spaces.
to the left? No, right.
Yeah, so the parking spaces
okay.
for the trail are at the end of this driveway. So no parking spaces for the trail are actually on the subject property.
Thank you. That was my concern.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
very good.
apologize.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Carol.
And I had a question about what are we waiting on from the fire district? Was it just a matter of timing or did they have concerns?
So we always route the applications and we just did not receive any formal comments from Chief Lambert. But I know Mike has had multiple conversations with him, so ultimately it's kind of a CYA on our part saying, hey, we just want to make sure fire's okay with this since we didn't receive any formal comments.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for CJ? Okay. Could the applicant please come up and let the council ask some questions of you, please?
Sure.
And you can address the council if you have any comments you'd like to.
Thanks, CJ.
Yes, I do have just a few opening remarks. My name is Mike Bramlett. I work for JR Engineering in Colorado Springs, and I'm a resident of Woodland Park for many years. I'm representing the applicant tonight. I was hoping the applicant was going to show, the applicant is probably got some issues with the restaurant judges because it's Fernando Morales, who is one of our local restaurateurs. He was able to make it at the planning commission and he gave a good vision of what he was interested or what he was wanting to do. So I'm going to try to recreate that. And his vision is high quality, fast Mexican food, primarily in a drive-through setting, few small tables if people want to sit. The 3 umbrella tables on the patio, I would assume in the summer are going to be popular because the view is outstanding from that patio. The hours would be 7 a.m. So there would be breakfast, drive-through to 11 p.m. At Planning Commission, there was a question about site lighting, and all lighting would be downcast lighting. We do agree, and the applicant does agree with the conditions that were placed up at the Planning Commission. CJ was good enough to share the Parks Department or board letter with me just recently. I have shared that also with Brecken Heights LLC, and we will work through that. As far as the conditions on the site plan, we're more than willing and happy to work with both the staff and all the other agencies. I have spoken and shown this plan to Tyler Lambert at Northeast Teller. He had one comment with regard to a location of the fire hydrant right at the south entrance to the site. Other than that, he was fine, but he will also have an opportunity at the final site plan to weigh in and confirm that. So I'm not putting words in his mouth. And then Mark, or Brecken Heights LLC, Mark McNabb, owner of Lot 4 and the the homes. I spoke with him today. He did say that he will work with the Parks Advisory Board. If you look at the letter, that was 2020, and I was involved in that project, but I'm not sure I remember 2020 so well, but he is working through that. And that is my short presentation, and happy to answer any questions.
2020 is one of those we all want to forget.
It was.
One of them anyway. Council, any other questions for the applicant? Carol?
Snow removal area, has that been identified?
Yes, it has.
Uh,
It's in the site plan package. It's actually this site is one of the ones that is actually not so bad for snow removal. We have area to the, right at the, well, if you had the site plan up, it would be easier, CJ. And it'd be like page 5. In the slope analysis and site and snow removal, but there is snow removal to meet
Okay.
requirements.
Thank you.
You're on that computer, but not on the monitors. There you go.
You can see the shaded area up along Highway 24 within the property.
Mhm.
And then that alone meets it, and also the north end, no, to the east of there, CJ, come around the dumpster. Yeah, in between the wall and that area holds a more than adequate space.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Anything?
so I have one question for you from Chief Lambert, and that is the way that the water supply runs now, is it through the south of the property? Is that why it's proposed for there, or is there some other concern about accessibility or something that he had about it?
No, he had no concern about accessibility. There's a 12-inch water main that's running in Highway 24 right away.
Mhm.
That Brecken Heights LLC tapped and extended an 8-inch water main up into the homes, which we will also tap to provide the fire access and service water for the restaurant. The pressures are more than adequate. We're pretty lucky to have a 12-inch water main. That's a little unusual.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
I will now open the public hearing for ordinance 1470. Suzanne, do we have anyone signed up to speak? Okay.
We do
Anyone in
not.
the audience wish to address the count? There is? Okay,
There is one hand up.
Would
It's
you-
Linda.
bring them on, please. Thank you.
She is now a panelist.
She's done. She's not coming on.
She's.
Am I there
on-
now?
Oh, there you are. Yes, please go ahead.
Here I am. Thank you, council. I was looking at the planning commission minutes, meeting minutes. And maybe CJ can help me out with this if he's allowed to speak at all.
For the record, can you just state your name?
Oh, that's right. My name is Linda and I'm a resident of Woodland Park.
Linda, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Sorry about that. So in looking at the minutes from the planning commission meeting that are attached to the agenda, it looks like lot 4 they may be considering making that into a storage unit facility. Again, if I'm looking at things correctly, the driveway that is accessed from Highway 24 would be for both the drive-through restaurant and I guess for a possible storage unit. And if I understood CJ correctly, people going to the restaurant and to the potential storage unit are going to be using the accelerating lane to access both of those locations and depart both of those locations. In leaving Morning Sun today, that road access is not very far from Morning Sun, and during especially tourist season, it's going to be hard for people who are leaving Morning Sun headed west on 24 to accelerate if somebody is decelerating to turn into that access road. Or if somebody from that access road is also trying to get onto Highway 24. So making a long story short, my concern is access and departure from that side road
onto Highway 24. I really hope that council considers not just the drive-through restaurant that is being proposed tonight, but also the fact that it appears as though they're looking at storage units in that same location. And I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else wish to address the council? All right, I will close the public hearing and turn this back to you, council.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes,
Well,
please.
before you do, I just want to clarify with CJ. CJ, the public comment was not germane to this particular application, but it is germane to that particular acceleration and deceleration there. Is that something that's going to become a CDOT issue to further fully develop the rest of that site?
That's correct, yep. And actually, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but or Mike, I'm sorry. Lot 3 and 4 are actually applying for a joint access permit, so CDOT's well aware of that. Within the CDOT comment that was within your staff report, it does label lot 3 and 4. So they're aware of that, and they're working through the issues in order to get that access permit, so.
So that'll get washed out as this all unfolds.
Yep.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion approving ordinance number 1470, series 2024. A request by Pikes Peak Taco Mexican Restaurant granting a conditional use permit as presented, provided the applicant works with the city staff to come into compliance with all required municipal codes unless a variance is granted.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Robert. Any other further discussion, council, before we vote? All right, Suzanne?
Harvey,
Yes.
Nakai,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Zuluaga,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Connors.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0 unanimously.
And I
Thank
hope the council understands why I added that language at the tail end of my motion to put a pressure that they do work with the city staff.
All right, council, we're on to 10A, which is approval as resolution number 912, establishing the single-family residential tap allotment for 24. Kip,
Thank you.
there you are.
Council. Before you tonight is resolution 912, series 2024, or in 2024, it's establishing the annual single-family residential tap allotment for the year. Every year we do this in January per the tap management plan. Tap management plan is a mechanism that lets us look at our water supply, our population, and make sure we don't overserve for the water we have available. For this year, I'm recommending 80, the same as last year. That includes 60 from the water tap planning number and 20 from the borrow bank. I'll just remind you, the water tap management plan basically establishes the water tap number every year. That number right now is around 1,022. So with the water that we have left, we have 1,022 taps remaining with that water. The tap management plan says no more than 10% of that number, but not to exceed 60 in any given year. So hence 10% would be 120 or 102, not to exceed 60. So we scratch the 102, use 60, and then we have the borrow bank. The borrow bank was also established in 1998 for landowners to take advantage of the market and allow additional taps. Since I have been here, we have never reached the borrow bank. It has stayed the same at a total of 60 taps every year because we don't ever sell over 60 taps. Well, I shouldn't say ever. We have, just not in the last decade and a half. So, so before you on that resolution, you can see the water tap planning number at 60 with the 20 from the borrow bank. Last year, in 2023, we sold 43 residential taps and 6 commercial taps for a total of 49. The year before that, we had sold 49 again, and the year before that was 52. I can go on and on if you would like more data. But it should be enough. And I just want to remind council this is with the water we have available. So we still have water that we will develop in the future. As of today, we have around 1,300 acre feet of water available, assuming it's a average water year. What questions can I answer?
Council. Robert, go ahead.
Yes, Kip, 1998, we did a borrow bank. So am I right in understanding what that really means is if we find we have a growth spurt in a particular year, we have factored for that to have an additional 20 if we need them. Is that basically what that is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we've never used it.
Back in the 90s, late 90s, we were sold up to 90 some taps.
Okay.
But that's scratching the cobwebs. It's of what I've read in the past.
No need, your brain is holds enough as it is. Thank you.
Carol?
Kip, I had a question. You and I talked about this morning, and it's somewhat germane to the discussion of taps for tonight, but the reservoir that we are now committed to building is not a primary source of water. Can you explain very briefly that it is for augmentation water only?
Yeah, so the reservoir will be holding augmentation water, our most important water that makes it legal for us to pump our local sources. We're not increasing our available water. It's already the water that we're planning on using. It's not additional water, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank
So
you.
we will just be saving what we don't use, basically.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right. Anyone in the audience wish to address the council on this issue? All right. Anyone online? No? All right. Council, I'll look for a motion.
So I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 912, establishing the single-family residential tap allotment for 2024.
Second.
Thank you. Suzanne?
Thank you. Nakai,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Zulawaga,
Yes.
Case,
Yes.
Connors,
Yes.
Harvey.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries 6-0 unanimously.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Kip.
Thanks, Kip.
All right, council, that takes us to reports, and I have a few community events to share. Saturday, January 27th at the middle school, the 5th through 8th grade boys basketball will be starting their games. Next, we have the 3rd through the 8th grade co-ed volleyball registration is open, and that would be February. Free ice skating at Meadowwood Sports Complex Ice Rink is now open. Check the Parks and Recreation website for skating times. And I'd just like to share one event for a very important nonprofit in our town. The Enchanted Evening at the HTN Hope Lives Here 2024 Sweetheart Ball. And that is on February 10th, 2024. And there is a new venue at the Cheyenne Mountain Resort. Begins at cocktail hour at 4:30, dinner at 6. Individuals are 80, corporate table is 800. And you can contact, the chamber, I believe, has this on their website, but there are some contact numbers here. If any of you are interested, I'll leave it. Look at. That's all I have, council.
I do have a DDA report.
Yay.
So I haven't been lying over and over again. We did finally conduct one on January 9th here in the council chambers, and I have two things to report. They both pertain to the Taba House properties. The first thing is that they did have their their first presentation to the Planning Commission this past Thursday, a week ago today. I have not seen it because it was QJ. So if anybody wants to go out and take a look, I'm sure it's online and available to see what the Planning Commission questioned them on. The second thing is their plan does call for 2 groundbreaking timeframes. The first is what they consider just a general grading and planting, getting the groundwork ready, both vegetation holding things in place as well as the grading. And that's the March, April timeframe. And then they actually are looking to break ground for the Tava House in the May, June timeframe. And that's what I have for public conversation right now.
Thank you, Russ.
And
Robert?
the cog car?
Everything with the cog cars is supposed to go from attorney to attorney by the request of the Carter family. Their attorney requested that all communication go through their attorney.
Okay, thanks. Keep Woodland Park beautiful. Suzanne, I've got a question for you on that. I have correspondence from an interested party who wants to join Keep Woodland Park beautiful. However, they don't live within the city limits.
That's
Can you
okay. That's
remind
not
me
a
how many-
requirement.
What's that?
That's not a requirement for that committee.
Is there a limited number that are of seats that could be filled by non-resident,
Yes.
Woodland Park residents?
Do they live in Teller County?
Yes.
Yeah, they would qualify.
All right.
Yeah, if they want to just send me the application and I'll point them in the right direction.
You mean send you an email so you can send them an application?
They could get the application online, but I can do that
Oh,
as
okay,
well.
gotcha.
Whatever
All
you
right.
want me to do, I can do.
Very good. All right, thank you. And then my other comments I want to hold for till Carol has her report because I have some comments about Braver Angels. So, yeah.
Catherine?
So I have a couple things. The UAC met for the first time in a while, and we have some fun stuff that's coming up. But we obviously did the water taps. We also have one permanent position and 2 alternates available for that. So if anybody's interested, that would be greatly appreciated. And then I'm going to be partially Jeff because Jeff sent me 2 jokes, so I'm going to send one of them. 6 of the 7 dwarfs are not happy. So there you go, Jeff. You get the other one.
At least it's clean, Jeff. Give you that. It's bad though.
I think that was cute.
So too.
Frank?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Is it? It's breakfast time. Thank you. Veterans Breakfast is 3 February at 8 o'clock at the Rick's Pool Hall or Soy 24 right next to the Thai food place. So please, all veterans are welcome. And I also had, you want to hear my joke?
Sure.
Okay, so I had to get rid of my rooster and I got a duck. And it wakes me up at the quack of dawn.
Oh, my gosh. Oh,
That's pretty bad.
jeez.
Catherine,
I win.
you win.
I hear you, Jeff. Did you want to tell your other joke that Catherine
No,
has?
I don't. I
Okay,
don't want to tell my other joke.
just offering.
I didn't know you were with us, Jeff.
Piece of-
Oh,
Thank you, Robert.
I've got a cold weather joke for you.
Okay,
You
all
ready?
right, fire
Okay.
away.
So this cold snap that came across the country, a friend of mine said, yeah, we had some frozen plumbing. But I talked to my neighbor, he was a farmer and he says, yeah, with my cattle, the only thing we could get from them was ice cream.
Oh, oh,
Right.
wow.
That was
Man.
the quack of dawn.
Oh,
Quack of dawn.
We can have voting later.
All right,
I'm speechless.
thank you.
Um, Well, first I wanted to thank Holly Sparks for coming in and reminding us of the mission of Braver Angels. They've had some great seminars already in the community. And Mayor LaBarre asked me to socialize the opportunity for a work session, whatever we want to call it, to address the topic that Holly brought up. I've socialized the background paper on that. It's called Managing Difficult Conversations with Constituents Workshop. Those are normally about a 2-hour workshop. Holly says she believes that the moderator will be able to condense that to an hour and a half. And what my recommendation was is that we do a work session in March prior to the election and invite the candidates to participate, as well as the appointed board members of the DDA, because I know that they have the challenge of dealing with difficult constituents, yes. Difficult conversations, not difficult constituents. So I'd like to get consensus and then allow Suzanne to put that on the calendar for a March workshop prior to one of the two meetings in March.
All right.
Before you have consensus, can I just weigh in with an experience with Braver Angels? Some of us went up to, what was it, which county were we in for the Douglas County? It was in Douglas County, the lady who facilitates this facilitated a debate for the school board up in Douglas County. And so it was interesting to me how they ran that. And I think it kind of bears comment with what you can kind of look for. When you sign in whether you lean red or lean blue or left, right, whatever. And then they position you at tables where you're balanced. In other words, folks who lean left are balanced with folks who lean right. So you're at a table where immediately you know you have an equal number of people who are on the other side of the aisle as you are. And the candidates all gave their opening comments. And then from that, they broke us up into groups and we had to develop questions to ask the candidates. And we had to come to a consensus on the table of one question from this, split kind of perspective. So, and then those questions were then brought back up to the candidates and they fielded those questions. So it was a really interesting, very, I got on great with the folks who lean the different way than I do at the table. It was very constructive. It was a very good bridging event. So I just want to say that you can expect something very good out of it.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Council, do we have consensus?
Sure.
Okay. And as
Great.
soon as Suzanne can
I do have-
establish a date, then we would pass that to Holly so she can contact the moderator.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you could, Suzanne, if you just shake your head, if you could get that date to me rather quickly so I can get it to the
Oh,
DDA.
well,
member.
we can do it this moment. Just give me 1 second. Let's just get it done. This way, everybody knows. We can do either March 7th or we can do March 21st. Is there a preference, council?
Oh, yeah.
I prefer the 21st.
The 7th has got the other debate that Carol's hosting real close to it. So
No,
That would be-
no, it's not. That's on
That's
the
on the
5th.
fifth.
well, that's still close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, and
Yeah.
it's not Carol doing it.
I'm not doing it.
Oh, you're not.
I've been fired. Yeah.
Either date works for me.
Yeah, the
So whatever the rest of the council wants.
So the 21st.
21st, yeah.
21st?
Yeah.
21st? Okay, I will put that on the calendar for the 21st.
And just since I still have the floor, I think, I will say that there is a candidates forum on the 5th that the chamber is sponsoring and the moderator will be Steve Wolf.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
We'll start
Anything
that.
else?
We'll start
ahead.
that work session at 5 o'clock. Is that correct?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Jeff, I did want, before we close, I just wanted to give you one opportunity. The farmer did say he's taking flavor orders.
Oh, thanks, Robert. Let me get back to you, okay? I think I want Rocky Road. Can a cow do that? Too many crickets.
All
When
right.
do you-
City attorney's
Attorney
report,
calling
Jeff.
now? I beg your pardon? Were
Did
you
I
asking
miss-
for my report?
Yes.
The firm has merged with another local government firm. Little Nina's and my little firm is now Wilson Williams Fellman Dittman. So we're very excited about that. There's 9 of us now. We're moving on to greater things. So I just wanted to report on all of that. And with those jokes, I'm just going to stop talking now.
Congratulations, Jeff. All right, city manager report?
All right, I believe Suzanne has an update she'd like to share.
Thank you, Erin. As again, everyone knows, it is election season, so I just wanted to give a quick update of the happenings. We currently have 9 petitions out that were given out. So 9 people came and picked petitions up. 7 of them for city council and 2 of them for mayor. I've received 7 of them back. They've been certified already. I'm waiting for 2 more to return. And they have until petitions can still be picked up. They can be picked up tomorrow, they can be picked up on Monday, but they need to be returned the 22nd, which is Monday, by 5 p.m. So that'll be the first item that we get through for the election. The close of petitions is Monday, 5 p.m., which is January 22nd. And then the next order of business when it comes to the election for the public to know, because we're doing lots of behind the scenes work. We're already ordering our secrecy envelopes and working on different things like that behind the scenes. But for the public to know, on February 1st at 5 p.m. right there in the council chambers, we will do the lot drawing where we will select the order the names will appear on the ballot. So that will occur at 5 p.m. on February 1st. And that's everything for now. So thank you.
All right, thank you. As Mayor Pro Tem Case had stated before, open skate is available at Meadowood Park, and my family and I went out there, and the hockey rink looks great. So I hope people will go out there and take advantage because it looks pretty awesome and they enjoyed it. The second thing I'd like to share is I do hope in February to bring forth an individual to be sworn in as the treasurer. So look forward to that in the coming time. We're going to change the way the finance department looks a little bit and split it into a budget and an accountant. So I'll be bringing forth that individual. So look forward to that. Thank you very much.
All right. Anything else? All right, we are adjourned.